Hello, people. It's your boy Hussam back again with another Rival Fan podcast. Listen, it's set to be a banger, as you can see from the title. I don't know if it's on the title or thumbnail, but Ollie is no longer at the wheel. I just want to take this opportunity first and foremost to thank the Watford team, the Watford players. You will always have a special place in my heart. I love you guys dearly. We got absolutely violated, but somehow we took a W from that result. Nevertheless, we'll be going to that. Of course, we'll be discussing the situation with the title. Liverpool and Chelsea both get very impressive victories. I suppose in Liverpool's case, it's not even that impressive because they do it every single season against Arsenal. So it's a minor thing. We'll be going into that. Not going to talk about the Man City because they're irrelevant in my eyes. We will be talking about Spurs very briefly to keep Kish happy. But nevertheless, let's get into it. First and foremost, my co-host for today, we got Kish in the building. Kish, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm obviously sad for obvious reasons that it's no longer Ollie in. It brought a lot of joy and happiness to me in particular. I'm a sad Spurs fan, so I do actually thrive off other people's failures. So yeah, it was nice while it lasted, but unfortunately the party's over now for me. So yeah, pretty disappointed, but there you go.
Yeah, you love to see. I mean, I don't know why Spurs fans care that much. It's like you're going to get top four, and
that's why I answered it. I said, "Listen, we take it from other people's failures."
It is where it is. But listen, we got the Don back in the building, fresh off another slapping Qurbani, as us Muslims would say, of Arsenal 4 times back-to-back team. We got Hussam in the building. Hussam, how you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. It's just cold. I'm not built for this cold weather. Global warming is real, people. It's cold in the Middle East. I'm freezing. Kish is in the UK, and I think he's wearing a half-sleeve shirt, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm over here with a jacket and a shirt and an undershirt and stuff. So listen, global warming is real. I'm cold. My skin is not built for cold temperatures. That's what I'm going to say.
Yes. You love to see it. Listen, we're going to get straight into it. As always, slap a like on the video. And obviously subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 1.3k, so continue to support the channel. Everyone's socials are down below. Obviously follow our socials as well and all that good stuff. But listen, let's get into it. First things first, we wanted to start with the irrelevant news, which of course is Conte winning 2-1 against Leeds. Dan James scoring. And, it was a great moment for him on a personal level. But nevertheless, Leeds do what they do best at the moment, which is capitulate. Kish, thoughts on Conte?
To be fair, it's hard to judge at the moment because we played a poor Everton team, got an away point, and we scrapped a 2-1 win against a very poor Leeds team as well. So it doesn't really tell me much, to be honest, at the moment. It's still taking him a bit of time to, of course, gel his squad, his formation, his tactics together. Simple fact is, look, he doesn't have this is the worst squad he's ever had. I know people talk about the Italian team that he had in Euro 2012, which was named probably the worst of its generation or for good 50-odd years. However, this Tottenham team, Harry Kane and Son aside, it's poor. It's really, really poor. So he has got a massive challenge. My only thing on this is the fact that we've got some really good fixtures, which I've outlined to you up until January. So if we've got until January and we're still within a few minor points away from top 4, and with Conte being promised what apparently has been promised in terms of funds and his attraction in terms of the manager that he is, I'm hoping that after January, things will be a lot more clearer for us. But it's massive, the fact that he's got these easy fixtures on paper to start off with that will take us to January and then the transfer window. But at the moment, look, we played a very poor Leeds team who really were under strength. No Rafinha, no Bamford, a couple of other players that were away as well. So I'm not getting carried away with anything. We were dreadful that first half. I almost fell asleep at least several occasions. So look, I'm not going to take anything away from the fact that it's a good 3 points. We needed 3 points and it boosts us up the league with West Ham losing, etc. But there's no way in hell that I'm getting carried away as of yet.
I mean, that's not what you told me privately, but that's fine.
Yeah, you know
what? Kish was there saying, Spurs are getting top 4, Contes, all this good stuff. But listen, Hussam, let's get your thoughts before we get my thoughts. Look, Spurs, as Kish said, very poor in the first half. Second half, I personally thought they were a lot better, but I know Kish doesn't feel like that. What are you made of Spurs so far under Conte?
Look, The problem is with Spurs. I've seen Jose Mourinho not be able to fix that football club. Like I genuinely think it's some sort of like an Arsenal guy put like some black magic on their football club or something. Like it genuinely makes no sense to me. Like the first moment they win a trophy is when I know, okay, maybe something might change. Like even if it's the Conference League or the Carabao Cup, just tasting silverware will give everyone a different taste. Obviously, like I don't want to make it about us, but if we didn't win the Champions League, we wouldn't have won the Premier League the season after, because tasting silverware is just different. When it comes to Conte, do I think that my problem is the Spurs squad more than the manager himself? Whether it was Nuno, Conte, Pochettino, whoever it was, the problem is the Spurs squad. With Pochettino, they didn't give him enough depth to be able to win stuff. Because when you look at it with Poch and Klopp, they both were basically at a stalemate, both of them. But Klopp got the Alisson and the Van Dijk, whilst Pochettino didn't. So maybe if Pochettino did get the Alisson and the Van Dijk, he would have achieved and won stuff, and it would have been a totally different conversation. But with Antonio Conte, they should be excited. He is a winner. He is an absolutely proven winner. But the problem is we're saying the same stuff we said before Mourinho. So I'm just like, it's literally the same exact words. He's a proven winner. He's done it at the top level, blah, blah, blah. And then Mourinho comes in and it crumbles again.
Would you not argue, though, Hussam, that the difference between them two is the fact that Mourinho was past his prime, whereas Conte is still within it?
I don't believe a manager has a prime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't believe that, because I think that's just a lazy argument. Like prime players, yes. Prime managers, no, because a manager can it's actually the other way around. The longer he's experienced, the better. So
would you not say about Benitez though as well, like managers like that?
Would you not say Ferguson in 2013 was still the greatest manager?
In 2013, yeah, I'd still say he's a great.
When he won the league title with those bums who were all 34 years old.
Yeah. Of course he would.
There you go. I don't believe in prime manager at all.
What I'm saying is, if you look at managers like Mourinho, who was given everything at Manchester United, you can't deny he wasn't. Yeah,
he wasn't.
And to come, second, which it was a fluke second because City overpowered them by about 20 points. Things like that. He was bought to win the league, so the fact that he didn't was a failure. And that was someone that, in a sense, had won the league at Chelsea the season before he got sacked, and then went to United basically the season after. I think, was it mid-season or end of the season? Something.
Who's the most successful United manager post Ferguson?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's Mourinho, but he wasn't bought to win the Europa League and the League Cup.
How much did they want Maguire for the summer before they bought him for 80 million?
I saw it I feel like it was 35 or
35, 40. So there you go. Like if they would have given Mourinho the backing, he possibly could have won the league. I remember that season City went Centurions. It's not like City won the league with 80 points. Like they won the league with 100 points. So they just blew everyone off the park. So listen, when it comes to Spurs, I think they just need reinforcements in the squad. I don't want to be too harsh, but out of the 25 players, I'd say probably 10 of them are like championship quality, never mind like Champions League or Premier League. Like I just think it's a bit too much, man. Like few of these players, like no one can fix them. Even Ferguson himself, if he came back and managed, would not be able to fix them. Like some of the players are just fully dead, man. Like you don't see anything. Like Oliver Skip, for example, Harry Winks. I'd say Dyer is done as well. I know obviously he scored a wonderful free kick when it hit the bar. Royal, there's still stuff to be seen there. I'm not sure. Lloris has been there since 2006, like ever since I was in school. Maybe you need a new keeper as well. Midfield, same thing. Dele Alli is hands down the worst player in the Premier League. No cap. I'm not even stuttering. Deadass. My honest opinion is he's the worst player at the Prem. So when you look at all of those things, like they need the refreshing. Like they need to spend proper money to fix the what's happening at Spurs. But if he does win silverware, then it'll be a totally different argument, because when you get that taste of success, you want it more and more and more and more.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think for me personally, I somewhat hope that Conte really struggles. Not because he didn't come out and nothing like that. I just feel like Nuno has been violated. I'm not saying that Nuno shouldn't have got sacked or he was the right person, but I think a lot of emphasis will put on Nuno in terms of his coaching, and obviously his deficiency, so to speak, as a coach. But if you actually look at the real issue, it's quite evident that the board firstly is one issue, and the second issue is the squad is embarrassingly poor. Like, as Kish, you said yourself, Son, Kane, and Dembele potentially, but he hasn't really shown his potential, so to speak. I mean, Reguilon, I expect him to be very good under Conte as a right wing back. because he'll have more license to be more attacking. But a lot of that team needs replacing, man. There's so much dead wood in that team. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
The fact that Dyer starts week in, week out, Harry Winks, Skip, as Hussam just said, them three in particular, bang average players. They're all Scott McTominays in my eyes in terms of they're just there because they run about a lot and they're just pissing about and they've got good knee slides and whatnot. I mean, Dyer playing week in, week out. You used to have Alderweireld and Vertonghen, my guy.
And see, that's what worries me about the Conte hiring, because Conte rejected us in the summer, right? Okay, a lot changed.
Shit. That's why he rejected.
But what I'm saying is, he's definitely looked at that squad and thought, "Wow, this is mad." So for him to come to Tottenham, there must have been some sort of assurance from Bo Patrici, who loves him basically, loves Conte from Juve days and even post then. There must have been some change and assurances that, look, you are going to get major backing. But even then, 100 million is not enough for Tottenham at the moment to be challenging. You're going to need 300-400 million. And even then, it's look at the managers ahead. Look at the squads that they've got that are ahead of Tottenham at the moment. It's ridiculous. You know, and that's the issue that Conte is going to have. It's not like the Chelsea setup where when he went to Chelsea, it was a poor Chelsea side. It wasn't. The season before they won the league, it was just a Chelsea where Hazard and co just couldn't be arsed for Mourinho anymore, and he just revitalized those players, and then they won, you know, emphatically. So this is a completely different ball game. Kane and Son aside, Ndombele, look, he's a very gifted player, but there's so many questions about him. Again, Conte's press conference about him last week about the fact that he needs to work harder than any other individual to showcase his talent. He was on the bench on the weekend against Leeds, where really you know you're going to get the ball, you know you're going to have opportunities on the front foot, but he still benched him. So that tells me a lot really about what he's already thinking about Ndombele.
Yeah, I mean, Ndombele is going to struggle, man. Because if you look at, obviously, I'm going to move on from the Spurs now because I spent too much time with him. But if you look at regular and said in the post match,
you're just letting him violate your football club like that.
Yeah, just wait till we get to the United segment.
Oh, don't worry. I mean, we beat you 3-0. That's what shit you are.
We beat you 6-1, so just.
I mean, that was last season. But anyways,
let's still take it.
We finished second last season. Who gives a fuck? I mean, it's irrelevant. So yeah, just quickly, regular on his post match said a lot. Man was literally sweating. He goes, "Listen, it's one of the worst weeks in my life because they've had to run down much. So Ndombele is on. He's gonna have to do a lot of runs in the park." Should we say? And this leads me nicely to Manchester United. Oli is no longer at the wheel. Pyramid scheme as well. Big up United faithfuls. Today's a good day. Oli free. It is indeed. I think. Well, the good day was on Saturday. Today is somewhat a bit of a mess really with all the links. But the main name coming out, and I did tweet at 12 o'clock. Zidane to PSG and Poch to United. That is what I think is going to happen, and it does seem like it has been backed up with a lot of speculation. I'm going to come to you first, Hussam, because you've gone on record on many occasions saying that if you're scared of Zidane, basically, if Zidane was to come to Man United, it seems like it's quite clear that is not going to be the case. We're probably going to get Poch. Of course, it's not set in stone, but what are your thoughts on that? Are you still scared of Poch at Man United, or what do you reckon?
No, not at all. I don't think Poch is a win now manager. You know the messed up part is Pochettino is a rebuild manager. If you got him post Mourinho, it would have been perfect. But it's the wrong time now because, listen, love or hate Oli, I love them obviously, but love him or hate him, he did do a good job in terms of rebuilding everything. Like, it's not as bad as when Mourinho left, basically. Like, there's still plenty of talented players, etc., etc. When Mourinho left, it was more like a bunch of old players and stuff, and it was like a totally different kettle of fish. But when it comes to, like, obviously, the team Oli leaves behind now, very talented, very good as well. My honest opinion, probably just a CDM away from competing, so I'm not even. And Donny van de Beek, by the way, against Watford, where you lost 4-1, where you tried to brush it under the carpet, like we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot we lost. I'm not gonna lie.
Kish, you see, the United fans, they're so shameless. They're moving like they won that game. Like, you get me, just because Oli got.
I genuinely forgot that we lost. Because I'm not even just saying it. I genuinely forgot we lost because he got sacked. I fully forgot. Fully forgot, yo.
Well, unbelievable.
Oh, God, you love to see it. You love to see it.
Listen, when it comes to Poch, though, I'm not really afraid at all. I think he's someone who rebuilds. I think the team is already rebuilt to an extent. It's just one step away. Pochettino has shown at PSG that he's incapable of dealing with egos. There's plenty of egos at Man United as well. Let's not sit here and lie. Obviously, Rashford, The way he spoke to Maguire, we know he's an ego. Ronaldo's an ego. Cavani's an ego. Pogba's an ego. Bruno is an ego. In defense, somehow Harry Maguire is an ego. David De Gea, you could argue, probably has an ego. Harry Maguire, Lord have mercy on my soul. Let me just listen. Osman, let me just say something, yeah? Listen, forget your question. Let me just say something about Maguire, yeah? I swear to God, I have never seen a more embarrassing Man United captain in my entire lifetime. You are sending for Roy Keane using your family. Bro, Roy Keane's left foot is worth your entire career. Like, this is what you need to realize as Harry Maguire. You're sending for the wrong person. Even as a Liverpool fan, I can recognize how amazing Roy Keane was, an incredible leader and captain. His performance away at Juventus is worth your entire career in performances. That's what you need to realize. You're sending your brother and your sister every day to tweet like, oh, we're proving the haters, oh, blah, blah, blah. And you score a goal against Albania and you do this. How embarrassing are you? Like, what are you doing this for? You've been shit this season. You've been horrendous. You've been crap. This is how it's been with Harry Maguire. He's sending for Roy Keane, who's arguably Manchester United's greatest ever captain, one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history. You're sending for him. Who the fuck are you? You're going to be a nobody. 20 years from now, no one's going to recall Harry Maguire.
And if they do, for this, it's all Pogba's fault.
Listen, and if they do recall Harry Maguire, it'll be a failed compilation probably. That's the only way they're gonna recall
you. Should have been there at Albania
talk to me, blah blah, proving doubters wrong. You've not proven nothing wrong. You've proven them all right because you're shit. You're shit on the football pitch. You're shit as the leader, and you have the audacity to throw away the captain's armband. This is not Arsenal. You're not Granit Xhaka. Arsenal, they're different. They're the next level of shit. You can't throw down the armband and do like. This guy is just horrendous, man. Like, I've never seen, pound for pound, hands down, the worst defender in the Premier League, considering the price tag. Easily. Sorry, I had to rant about Maguire there, but am I worried about?
Don't apologize. It's music to my fucking ears, man. I absolutely can't stand.
That's the first click.
No, but how can you disrespect Roy Keane as Harry Maguire? How?
He's an absolute fridge, man. I can't stand the guy. I mean, the fact that he's got, look, I understand why his sister's defending her brother. I'm not saying that he shouldn't defend his siblings, but have some shame, Maisie. I'll address you by your name. Have some shame, sweetheart, because you doing one of these tweets after he scored against Albania is pathetic, and it reeks of how poor the mentality of the club is. Basically, this guy's the captain, and that is the mentality. Man is gassed that he scored against Albania, bro. You can't even name me three of their players. That's how small of a really country they are in terms of a team. But to come back to the initial question, which I think I may have forgotten.
Pochettino, am I worried? No.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you. Hussam's got good memory, innit? Kish, Pochettino, are you worried? Hussam saying he's not worried. He's a builder. He's not the executor. I just made that up, but it sounds good. Kish, what do you reckon?
He will literally do the exact same job that Ollie's done, in my opinion. Maybe a bit better. No, in fact, he will do it better because he at least has managerial tactics. Ollie's just clickbait. But there's not much of a difference at all, in a sense. And that's the problem. I was under the impression that Man United now, with finally letting Ollie go a year after than what it should have been, that this is now it. This is now the time for them to hire a manager that not only demands success, but breathes it. Again, with the Ronaldo situation, you're going to go from Ollie to Pochettino, who again only has a French cup from one game. He was in the final already anyway, and that was Tuchel that got them to the final. So you can't even count that. That's literally half a cup. So you can't go from that to then saying, oh, by the way, here's another trophyless manager. How do you deal with that, Ronaldo? Because you can guarantee you within 3-4 games, if it's a couple of uneasy results, Ronaldo's going to stick his dummy out. He's going to go to Glazers and say, look, I get your share prices up, so sack this guy. That's literally what's going to happen. And Zidane, for me, 100% or something like would worry me and would worry probably everyone in the Premier League, because no matter what you say about him, he manages big personalities. At Real Madrid, he had huge personalities in that style, and he got success out of it. People say, oh, anyone can do it in top clubs with great players. Anyone who says that, it's a lie, because look at the other managers beforehand. No one's achieved that. Even Pep Guardiola at Man City has not won the Champions League. So you can't tell me that it's easy if you've got the players, because it's not as simple as that. So for me, Zidane would create such fear amongst the players if they drop. in form, if anything goes off, he's not scared to do it because he's earned that right. He's won the Champions League as a player, as a manager. He's won a Ballon d'Or. He's won Coach of the Year on numerous occasions. He's been there, done that, signed the ticket. So that is someone that you want, someone of that ilk, someone of that quality that brings fear to the players. Not someone like Pochettino, who again is your mate. He did that with Dele Alli. The reason why he got a tune out of Dele Alli for such a long time, up until the last season, is because Ali thought he was unreal. Is because he puts the arm around you, and that's what you will do to players like Rashford, Martial, where for a couple of weeks I know what you're like with Martial. You will literally think this is the new coming of Martial.
I've learned my lesson.
I know you will.
No, you have not learned your lesson.
He'll score a hat-trick against Norwich, and you will literally, everything will be coming out. I know for a fact. I know what happened. Yeah, that literally what will happen. He'll put his arm around saying, I'm only here to give the players confidence. And then after a couple of months, when you lose in semi-finals or finals, because that's what Pochettino does, it's going to be tears again. And he's probably going to get sacked. And then it's going to go to someone else. So for me, he is not the right appointment. But he's a yes man for the board. So it does seem like right now, he's begging to come back to the Premier League because his missus apparently is not settled in France. And he knows he could get sacked at any time in France. If he wins the league, if he wins the cup but loses in the Champions League, he could get sacked. At Man United, if he gets top 4 and loses in the semi or a final, he ain't getting sacked. He ain't getting sacked.
I mean, if he does that, the fans will be singing Poch at the wheel. They'll be buzzing about that.
I'm telling you, and that's the problem. It all comes down to not just the management, it's the board, because this is Manchester United, who in my lifetime, from what I've known, has been the most successful club in my own lifetime by a country mile. In my lifetime, by the way, I'm not saying in all, but in my lifetime, yeah.
No, say
and
what you said.
They've gone from that to ruthless. They've gone from ruthlessness to pussycats.
Fact.
Literally, it's a complete mismatch, and for me, that can't be Manchester United. If you're Manchester United going back for the leagues, going back for the Champions League, Rio Ferdinand coming out with clickbait tweets like "We're back, give him the contract."
Oh.
If you're going to do things like that, you need the very best. Otherwise, why bother? Why bother going through all this trouble to sack Ole and get Pochettino? It doesn't make any sense.
And the thing is, just on one point that you said regarding the like obviously the job security per se. I know obviously Liverpool and United have plenty of historic differences, but they are known to give managers time.
Yeah,
like that's just how it goes at both clubs. Like it's not like a Chelsea or etc. where you can just sack. That's not how it goes. Like even Roy Hodgson, like we milked the shit out of Roy Hodgson till it was like categorically impossible. Like when we hit 17th in the league, we're like, listen, we understand the traditions of the football club, but this is too much. With Poch, he'll never be too bad to get sacked, and he'll never be too good to become like a great manager. I feel like because his main thing is pressing. Ronaldo doesn't press. Greenwood doesn't press. Pogba doesn't press.
But look, for me personally, right, the one thing about the pressing thing, obviously, he was phenomenal at Spurs, and obviously at PSG, that's been a growing issue. Of course, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi as your front three aren't the most, pressing team, so to speak, especially like Neymar, Messi in particular. So, of course, that is potentially a concern. The way he plays, will it be suited to the proper players we currently got? The high egos at PSG is quite evidently he struggled with them, and now he's going to have high egos, as you already mentioned. At Manchester United, there's a lot of egos at Man United. Let's be real. As you also, some of them probably don't understand why they got ego, but it is where it is. But for me, regarding the pressing thing, that's not one of my concerns, because I feel like the players will respect him enough in terms of, one second, Kish. I think the players will respect him enough to believe in what he's trying to bring to the table. Because with Oli, he didn't really bring anything to the table in terms of a tactical standpoint. If he comes in with a clear plan, then the players have to follow it, otherwise they won't play. I do believe he's got enough options with the attacking line. Like, for example, you said Greenwood don't press, which is fair enough. But we've got Sancho who will press. I mean, he did at Dortmund. Bruno Fernandes does press. In my personal opinion, he does it too much. But under an organised press, he'll be efficient. Then you've got Rashford who will press. Okay, Ronaldo will be the person that, of course, we'll have to cater for. But without a shadow of a doubt, Ronaldo, as a striker, sometimes you don't really need to press that hard. You just need to close on the angles. And obviously, the players around Ronaldo need to make sure they're doing their job. You got Van der Beek, who Poch speaks very highly of and has done in the past, who's known for his pressing. Of course, he's from Ajax, so that's his DNA. So we have got players, and I know Fred is useless, but under a proper coach, he'll get himself about, and hopefully he'll do something. Like, I'm not saying that he has all the ingredients there at Manchester United to be a success straight away. He will have to bring his own players in to actually help him with the style of football that he did at Spurs. However, what I will say is, I think to say you're not scared, that's understandable, because he's not my number one. I get that. But I do think Poch will massively benefit Man United, because the players are there, but we just had a shocking management. The level up from Oli to Poch is quite huge. So I'm just intrigued to see what happens. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and gas him up too much, because he's not my number one.
But the answer is in the same sentence you just said. You just said the players are there. So he doesn't need to rebuild.
They're not, though.
Like, he doesn't. Who does Pochettino need to rebuild a whole new defense? A whole new midfield?
He needs a DM and right back.
There's two players. Pochettino at Tottenham had Wanyama and Dembele, who anyone that doesn't rate Dembele is absolutely foolish. He's probably one of the best centre midfielders. I don't care what you say, And then at PSG, he has Verratti and Idrissa Gueye to Scott McTominay and Fred. It's literally chalk and cheese. You can get a tune out of these players, you can, but the levels are ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Until you change that approach, it's just not.
So, Kish, are you saying? Are you guys basically saying that he hasn't got the players to press with Man United? Because
and that's why Zidane for me.
I'm saying it's not a rebuild job. Why are you getting him? It's the wrong time.
Yeah, no.
I think Kish would agree with me. Post Mourinho, perfect to get Pochettino in. He would agree as well.
100%.
Yeah, but now what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, he's not the guy to take the team over the line. That's my concern, and he hasn't been the guy. I mean, like, for me, there's levels to everything in life. Obviously, Poch is just below the level of elite in it, really. You know, you have to really, when the going gets tough, you have to show what you're about. And every time the going's got tough at Spurs, and I said this to Kish, when he was at Spurs, he's bottled it. So that is a massive concern for me.
The problem is, though, man, is you're going to struggle because Zidane doesn't want to come. Luis Enrique, who's another trophy winner, like he has experience, he knows how to get the job, he knows how to get teams over the winning line, is very clear. I mean, he took the biggest piss out of United. I'm not going to lie, that's ridiculous.
Luis Enrique.
Yeah, he literally pissed all over.
But there was no approach from us. His comments obviously are hilarious.
Nah, but that is taking the piss. Do you know that is like?
He did. Yeah, you're not rated around Europe anymore. He was like,
he could have just said, I'm not interested.
If he was asking about Liverpool or City, he'd be like, oh yeah, it's an honor to be linked to that job, blah blah blah. But with you, it's like, it's a April Fool's Day. You want me to go work with McTominay? Leave me out.
That's peak. And instead, the manager that's interested is Brendan Rodgers and Pochettino. There's levels to this game, and that's not. By the way. Yeah, Brendan Rodgers would literally pack his suitcase and run to United right now.
Oh, listen, listen, I'm interested in the Man United job, actually, believe it or not. That doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Yeah, so is Steve Bruce.
Yeah, I know, so is Steve Bruce. It's 99 pace on FIFA. Listen, I'd rather have Steve Bruce than Brendan Rodgers. Like, for me personally, Brendan Rodgers is way worse than Poch. I'm not even entertaining that guy. Because for me, if we get Brendan Rodgers, then you just delete the fucking.
He has more trophies.
Kish, you know, Man United remind me of what right now? They remind me of that meme. You see that meme where it's like her brother, her father, her grandfather, and then you right there. Like, I feel like United are gonna get linked to Zidane and hug everyone and end up with like Lopetegui or Rodgers or something.
No, but Kish can't laugh at that
about the guy. Why United did not go for Antonio Conte to me doesn't make any sense.
Because he's not a yes man.
Nah, Conte is the wrong one as well.
No, but he's not. United are now at a stage. Like, I agree with what you said. Oli has got the bums to the stage where the squad is almost there. Bar maybe a CDM, they are literally there, right?
So Kish is not a yes man, Conte.
No, but this is what I mean. But surely that's what you want, because
we want.
That's what Usman wants, but that's not what the board wants.
The board wants someone that who's a puppet and they've got him on strings.
Zidane, Enrique, Ten Hag, I would say are the top three for the job. Definitely.
I will literally make that statement, whether you believe me or not. If Conte went to United and they got the CDM that he wanted, in my opinion, they would. I almost guarantee that they win either the league or the Champions League.
Because Conte is at Spurs and he's not coming to United.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Again, it's the board. Again, it's stopping you from so many opportunities.
The board is a shit show, innit? I agree with you. I hear the point you're making. The only reason I'm speeding up is because I want to talk about the teams as well. Because it's not all about Man United. It's the Rival Fan podcast, not Man United podcast. That is every Thursday. So let's move on to another team. In my personal opinion, that have been exposed for the frauds that they are. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 4. And who else to discuss this? then Hussam himself. Hussam, the floor is yours.
Listen, Arsenal fans for 2 weeks pre-international break were chatting the most shit. And I tried to warn them. I tried to tell them, when you come to Anfield every year, you get sacrificed. You get slaughtered. I told them, Arsenal at Anfield are like our side chick. That's just how it goes. You come to Anfield, we only want one thing, and you leave empty-handed. That's just how it goes. So, 2 weeks of the international break on spaces everywhere. Arsenal fans are like, oh, by the way, same DVD every year. Oh, it's different this time. This time we don't have this player. We have Gabriel. Like last time it was, oh, we don't have Monreal. We have Tierney. We don't have Tierney. We have Tavares. We don't have this guy. We have this guy. Come to Anfield. 3, 4, or 5. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes with Arsenal. Arsenal at Anfield every single season. It's the sacrifice at Anfield. You know what's the worst part? Takumi Minamino scored the goal. Like Minamino scored the goal.
He scored
Minamino. Minamino, guys. Minamino scored a goal against you. And you know the audacity of these Arsenal fans? This is what they do. Pre-game, they come with so much energy, so much energy. Oh, for this guy gets in the combined 11, this guy gets in the combined 11, Tomiyasu better defensively than Trent, Tavares better than Tsimikas, blah, 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 blah. Post-game, they're like, Liverpool are the better team anyway. Who expects to go to Anfield and win? They're the blah, blah. Why didn't you say this shit pre-game then? Why didn't you say this stuff pre-game? Why do you come with the most energy pre-game, and then when you lose, come with the least energy post-game? That's the one thing I don't get, because pre-game, I've seen combined 11s with more Arsenal players than Liverpool players based on form, and somehow we smashed them by 4-0. So my message to Arsenal fans is, come, let's make a combined 11 now. Make me a combined 11 now. Make a Liverpool-Arsenal combined 11 now. I want to see how many Arsenal players you have the audacity to even include in it, because Gabriel got out-jumped by 4'3" Mane. Ramsdale only saved all the shots that went straight at him. Ben White, like, there's literally the Anfield grass is still between his teeth. Like, he needs to visit the dentist. It's that bad. It's that bad for Ben White. He got sat down, not like by Mo Salah, who's like, oh, the star. He got sat down by Jota. And then Ramsdale got sat down by Jota. And the third goal, bro, like, how can one header from Jota break an entire defensive line that's been so solid defensively? Ramsdale, best keeper in the league. Yeah. And they immediately just hold 4, bro. This is just what happens. My message to Arsenal fans is, next time you want to play Liverpool, as Dwayne The Rock Johnson says, know your role, shut your mouth, keep your mouth closed, put 11 Liverpool players in a combined 11, say we're gonna lose. So post-match, I don't come with energy. Post-match, I'll just go to you and be like, listen, the better team won, commiserations, and we'd move on with our lives. But you come with so much energy pre-game that you deserve this bullshit post-game. So Arsenal had it coming. And listen, you're worried about different things in life, but if Chelsea win 2 more trophies, they overtake you in the major trophy cabinet. So Arsenal, a club that was established in 2004, is about to overtake you. So watch your back, Arsenal.
Wow, Hussam did not hold back. Listen, for me personally, right, the funniest thing is the fact that Arsenal fans, as you mentioned, pre the game, was saying how much progress they made under Arteta is different. When we lost to Man City and Chelsea, we didn't have Gabriel, we didn't have Ben White, we didn't have Tomiyasu, we didn't have Partey, X, Y, and Z. None of their players were fit. Myself, going into this game, I wanted Arsenal to win against Liverpool. I always will do. But listen, you can't come with that much nonsense talking about all this progress and then getting absolutely battered again. And before people say, well, you're a Man United fan talking about us, listen, I don't give a shit about us. This is about you. Let's not change the topic, yeah? I'm not the one claiming that my team is progressing. I'm not the one claiming that my team is turning the corner. I'm not the one claiming that Arteta is one of the best managers in the league, because that guy is an absolute fraud. He's got no tactical nows. Fair play to him. We want to get some dead teams.
And he tried to fight Klopp, by the way.
Bro, every guy that fights Klopp gets fucking slapped. Lampard, Arteta, you guys need to know your place, man. Just stay in
He made Anfield turn into 1980s Anfield, where it was so loud. He did that to himself, so literally, he only can blame himself.
Absolutely pathetic. But the thing for me is, right, with Arsenal fans, they need to realize that this progress that they keep going on about, it's not progression. Emery went under, 27 unbeaten streak. I heard Arsenal were back. A couple of weeks later, you lose a couple of games, you want Emery out. Just give it a couple of weeks. As soon as you lose another game, back to back, if you don't win the next game, watch on Twitter, everyone's going to be saying Arteta out again. The wheels would have fell off. You guys are the most reactionary fan base in the world. Ben, they're so desperate to say Ben White is better than Varane. Please do me a favor. Do me a favor. Varane's got more Champions League than your club will ever get in the eternity of the existence of the club. So please do not compare Ben White to Varane. Please, it hurts my soul. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say. The progress was short-lived. You played a decent team and you got your pants pulled down. You know, reality. Just be humble about it.
And Cahill bottled it as well.
Kale, I'm gutted you're not here because you were going to get the smoke today, but it is where it is. Hopefully you recover from whatever illness you got. I'm assuming it's Arteta-itis. Kish, thoughts on Arsenal losing as they do year in, year out? 4-0, man. What's the difference between Wenger's 4-0?
I think with Arsenal fans, I think this is a frustrating thing. If they'd said nothing before the game, if they were like, it's Liverpool at Anfield, then no one would really say anything because yes, it's a poor defeat 4-0, but you can't. It's a Liverpool front three. It's the Liverpool team that have been banging goals left, right, and centre this season. So there's no shame in that. But when shame comes into play, is 2 weeks international friendlies are on, and every single Arsenal stream that I see, every single podcast I see, every single tweet I see is like, "We're back. This is it." I don't see Liverpool getting anything from us. We've now got that back four that Arteta's wanted since the beginning of the season. We're back. We're here. That's where the problem lies. It's not getting beat against Liverpool. It's the energy from the fans and then not being able to back it up afterwards, which is what Hussam said. That is exactly what happens. Look, what Hussam said at the beginning of the season was right. Look, they play one game a week. Top six, I can see them coming in the top six, 100%. I can see them.
I said 7, so I'm devastated.
I can generally see them coming 5th or 6th. There's
Start learning the lyric.
because it's the one game, but stay out of these games. When you're playing the Cities, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, please just don't say anything because you just know what's going to happen. And the funniest thing is the first 30 minutes, they were quite competitive. They had 1 or 2 half chances. I think Sak on the right did cause problems initially. There was a couple of kind of half opportunities that went aside. But then as soon as Liverpool scored, this is the thing with Arsenal that really frustrates me. And in a sense, it's a bit like Tottenham as well, where as soon as they concede, the gates open. It isn't just...
Can I just ask you something there? Not under Wenger, they used to have this tendency of, like you just said, as soon as they conceded, they asked for
it's finished. It's like, and do you know what? That for me, I can't put my finger on it because it happened at the end of Wenger's era, like for the last few years, and it's happened with every manager. It happened with Emery. It happened with, it's happening with Arteta. Where is it a player mentality? Is it their scouting? Is it the players that they're bringing on board that just seem to drop their heads after conceding because it's a huge regularity. The players, I'd love to know the running stats after they conceded that first goal because it seemed to me like none of the players actually cared and they were like, do you know what? We're going to get battered here. Well, I can't wait to get back on the team bus and play FIFA tonight. Like, that's what it felt like to me and beat Liverpool 21-0 on amateur mode or something. That's honestly, that's what it felt like to me. And this is why, the Arsenal back and everything. Look, they've got a manager there who will get them top 6 because it's the one game a week. But are they going to bring them back to their former glories of Invincibles, Premier League, regular Champions League participants, winning the major honours? No. And again, it's down to not just the squad, but it's the ownership. The ownership will not allow Arsenal to be at a stage where they're challenging for these because that's not profitable to Arsenal owners at the moment. And they're happy with buying baseball clubs in America and other countries because that's what makes them money by spending money. Whereas at Arsenal, it's just like, I tell you what, we'll spend 100 million here and there, but then we'll get that back from sponsorship deals, etc. It's a good, healthy income for us. And that's what's happening. And if you are an Arsenal fan, it must be horrible in that sense. Trust me, I know. We've got Daniel Levy there.
That's what I say. You best say,
it's horrible. It's not good at all. Especially the difference is, of course, with Arsenal is the fans remember them. From the late 90s, early 2000s, where they were dominant. They were powerhouses. All the way from you've gone from Vieira and people like that to little bitches in midfield that literally want to cry after conceding goals. That it is the divide is ridiculous, and if you're an Arsenal fan, honestly, there must be tears daily.
I mean, look, in terms of the progress, like I said, we'll have to wait and see it because obviously their progress is based on
I
beating Norwich.
swear to God, Usman, forget all this football talk. I swear to God, if you finish below Arsenal, forget Arsenal. First of all, forget
Listen,
me.
we're not
Because
finishing-
listen, I'll be unbearable, but Arsenal fans will ruin your life. You know this already. You know how unbearable they are.
Without a shadow of a doubt. The amount of Arsenal fans have tagged me in my tweet that went somewhat, got a bit of traction. Or when I put the table up and Arsenal were like 13th, and they keep replying to that tweet every time they overtake us. Like that's basically what you become, Arsenal.
I do think though
It's your
Arteta
achievement
will
of the
get
season
Arsenal
now.
to a similar stage that Ollie did, where in a couple of years he will have a squad that's good enough to not be.
Arteta and Ollie are like twins,
but
man.
I feel like it will
basically
come to an end in a couple of years where Arteta will get a decent squad, and it's just.
I think Arteta's better.
You
I mean, he might be better, but he's not much better for me personally. I mean, he might be good at putting down the cones, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, okay, let's move on to Liverpool before we go on to Chelsea. So obviously Liverpool victorious 4-0, emphatic, never really in doubt. Before we get into it, I need to ask you one question, Hussam. Because you obviously you're talking about certain things that we said in a previous video, which is completely fine. But there's also something you said in the previous video, and you said with Chest, you said Sadio Mane is finished and you sell him. So do you owe him an apology? Because he seems to.
Listen, I don't know why you're pulling up receipts.
I'm just asking.
Why are you pulling up receipts from other channels, Osman? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing?
I watch all your content. I support my brother. That's all it is.
My guy.
You tell me that you said Mane's finished. You want to get rid of him. X. You went into depth. So do you owe him an apology? Because to be fair to Mane, he's done really well this season so far.
No, I don't owe him an apology. I think this is the last season we're gonna see the famous front three together. Genuinely speaking, I think he's probably gonna get sold this summer, either him or Firmino, to just move on the squad a little bit. When it comes to Sadio Mane, though, look, well, the less time he has to think, the better decision he'll make. If he has to sit there and make a decision, that's when he messes it up. But if it's something just like on the flow, he'll usually do well with it. So yesterday, even the decisions he made when it was just like there was no time to think, he made the perfect decision. When there was time to think, he messed it up. And that's just usually what happens with Sadio. Like, you see with Sadio, if it's one-on-one, you're done out here. But if it's like a shot on a pass from someone, it's probably a goal. That's just how it goes with Mane, because when he doesn't think he does well. Do I think he's done well this season? Yes, because he scored more goals than Antonio and Vardy, who apparently are having phenomenal seasons, and he's a winger, Mane. So that obviously is the thing. So do I owe him an apology? No. But is he proving me wrong? Yes. Is it for the betterment of my club that he proves me wrong? Yes. So I'm happy either way. But listen, forget Mane. I see what you're doing. Let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the right-hand side. Let's talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Here we go.
Running a football game from the right-back position. Not one right-back on earth right now can run a football game, dictate its tempo, create chances when he wants to, overlap, link up play, create for the other winger, make space for Salah, make space for the midfielder.
Did you see James again? I know you don't like this comparison, but do you see James against Leicester? Because for me, he did fully run that game, and he was kind of playing centre mid to an extent as well for periods of it.
Yeah, this is basically a Dani Alves Arbeloa comparison, but Dani Alves clear, so Trent clear. So when it comes to the right hand side as well, Mo Salah right now, in terms of GA, I think he's 10 ahead of the next guy, which is mad. Like this is not normal at all. And Jota, he created a magnificent opportunity for Jota. He passed the ball into Trent. He has the most chances created in the league as well. So it's going well. Listen, here's the thing. Squad depth is going to be an issue, 100%, which is why I didn't put us as first. I put us as second. But as always, Arsenal are our side chick at Anfield. So it was always going to be a win. But after this, we'll see what happens. I honestly believe, I've said this at the start and I maintain this. I genuinely believe we probably have a bigger chance of winning the Champions League than we do the Premier League. And I'm fine with that. If we win one of them, I'm okay with it. If we win neither, then we have a problem.
Well, what would happen in your head, and just in the Liverpool fan base, just please enlighten me, if Klopp was to win no trophy this season? Because you just said that we win neither.
Oh, it's an utter failure. It's an utter failure. Forget if we win no trophy. If we win the FA Cup and or the Carabao Cup and finish fourth, it's a failure, because at the end of the day, you don't have 10 players in their prime with a young right back who's also inexperienced to an extent, all there for you to win the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. If that's the case, we could have just kept Rodgers, kept the youngsters, and eventually they would have won an FA Cup. But when it comes to the current team, I think It's a failure by everyone at the club if we don't win one of the two major trophies. It's the players, it's the club, it's FSG, it's everyone. It's everyone's fault. No one escapes blame for me. I don't like to point fingers. I just point fingers at like everyone at the football club, not just one person.
Fair enough. So you don't want to scapegoat on, which is respectful. I understand what you're saying, but yeah, for me personally, Liverpool have to win a trophy this season, as you just mentioned. In terms of the performance itself, I mean, of course you were fantastic. There's no denying that. But it's the fact that it's Arsenal's really hard to give you a lot of credit, because in my head, I knew you guys were gonna win that game deep down. Like, I just feel like you always beat them. Like, it's always 4-0 as well. Like every single season from. I'd love to see the scores in the last couple of seasons at Anfield. I feel like
I can tell you right now. I can tell you the scores easily: 4-0, 3-1, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1, 5-1.
Oh my lord! I mean, this is the thing. Like, I feel like you beat him all the time. It's become a regular occurrence, so it's not really that much of a surprise. But listen, also, I know you need to bounce because obviously you have got your show. Yeah, so you just put it there. So I know you need to bounce. Just before you go, just let the people know where they can find you. I'm sure everyone knows who you are, but in case they don't, let the people know where they can find you, my guy.
Listen, big up, Hussam. Always a pleasure coming on the channel. I tried to wind him up by telling him my cat got pregnant, but fair enough. My cat didn't get pregnant. So it was a pleasure working with you, Usman. As always, thanks so much for having me. Big up Kish as well for actually helped me banter Man United. So big up your damn self for a change, Kish, for a change. So everyone as well who's watching this right now, don't forget to smash a like button on this video. Subscribe to Usman's channel. Help push him, man. Everything he's been doing has been incredible lately as well. Big up your damn self, Usman. And you can find me over here. This is football. That's the channel where I have a Chelsea show literally in 5 minutes where I have to sit with 5 happy Chelsea fans, which is just so disgusting, man. Like, I want to vomit right now. But besides that, you can find content there for whoever you support. And this is my Twitter, where I run spaces every day, as Usman knows as well. I run spaces every day regarding different people. And I'm just out here like Jerry Springer, just winding people up. Yo, guys, Henry never scored in a final, and immediately a war starts. And that's exactly what I do. I love instigating stuff.
I was doing my work.
Big up, my guys. It's a pleasure working with both of you, and I'm going to see you guys, man.
Yes, Hussam. Thank you for coming through, as always, my guy. Make sure you show love to Hussam, as always, like he said. Make sure you slap a like on the video if you are still watching. Get your comments in. We are going to finish with Chelsea talk. And obviously, we're going to discuss very briefly the sort of the upcoming games. Of course, it means Michael Carrick is in charge, so we'll give our thoughts on that very briefly. But yes, obviously, a very impressive performance for Liverpool. As Hussam just reeled off all the previous results, it was expected. In terms of Arsenal perspective, they just do what they do best, really, capitulate under any bit of pressure. I mean, what difference was it losing 4-0 to them under Emre or Wenger? That's why I just don't see any progress, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's move on to Chelsea, who were 3-0 victors over Leicester, who looked like they potentially might sack Brendan Rodgers in the very foreseeable future. But yeah, Kish, before I give my thoughts, man, what did you make of Chelsea's performance?
To be honest, there's not really much you can take from it. It was one of those where it was an old school like job done. You know, it was one of those where it was a standard performance, because Leicester at the moment aren't giving anything. You've seen that in various games this season where unless the players are given space, there's no press. I know we were talking about Man United players, but for some it feels like that the players have now stopped believing in Brendan Rodgers, whereas initially for the first few seasons they were all playing for him, whereas now you see a lot of issues. I mean, he's made a couple of tactical changes as well, where he's brought Maddison back in the side and moved Tielemans' position as well. And I think if anything, that's not helped, because the last 6 months of last season, the reason why they did so well is because they put Maddison to the side, because Maddison just wasn't performing, and they had Harvey Barnes outperforming ridiculously, and Tielemans in that kind of attacking role. Whereas now he's gone back, and it's kind of limited them a bit, and not only limited them, but it's opened them up defensively, because Tielemans is not a central defensive midfielder; he's an attacking midfielder as well. So the only person that they've got in that defensive lineup is Ndidi, and the defense is a shambles as well, since Fofana's been injured. Johnny Evans has been injured various times this season as well. So there's a lot of issues in that Leicester team at the moment. So for Chelsea, it's a comfortable win. The only thing you can take out of it is the fact that it's more momentum, and the fact that the fullbacks for Chelsea this season, I think Ben Chilwell's got about 4 or 5 goals. Reece James has got about 4 or 5 goals. Assists, I think they've got numerous each as well. It seems like this season is a season for the fullbacks. You look at Liverpool, you look at Chelsea, you look at Cancelo, Man City.
Wan-Bissaka,
and then you look at Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Tubby Boy. You see people like that, and you're just thinking, yeah, I mean, it could be the fullbacks that win Chelsea the league this season. The only thing that I have at the moment with Chelsea is, can they keep it up for the whole season? Because yes, they've got a big squad, but they're in the Champions League. It looks like they're going to get to the knockout stage, and I'm sure they'll have appetite to win that. And they're still in all the other competitions. I think they're in the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the league. Can they survive every single competition? Because now that City are knocked out of the League Cup, which they haven't been since Pep has been there, that's one less competition for Pep to go for now in kind of the competition. So will that go against them? And the fact that with Lukaku, he's coming back from injury, and Werner there are questions in that attacking side.
I don't agree. I'm not going to lie to
you.
You
Not?
No, because I love what you said. Do you not? First things first, Lukaku, your guy. But look, banter aside, for me, after watching that game, so this is the first time I watched Chelsea play the full 90 minutes for a while for whatever reason. And I must say, I know Leicester are poor at the moment, and I know people will discredit Chelsea's performance, but genuinely, that was an absolute masterclass of a performance. Not just from the tactical standpoint, but in terms of the execution of the tactics from the players, it was an absolute T. I feel like every single player in that Chelsea team knew their role like the back of their hand. The way they were pressing, the way they were closing the gaps, the distance between the players was very small at all times. You mentioned Reece James there and Chilwell. Both of them were absolutely phenomenal in that game. I mean, that was a textbook performance from fullbacks, and Reece James in particular completely bossed that game. He almost got a goal. He was offside. He could have got another 2 assists. Same with Chilwell. I mean, they're both absolutely running the show. Leicester had absolutely no idea what to do. And that is a lot of it's down to Tuchel, the way he set the team up. There's constant overloads on the pitch in favour of Chelsea, and that is down to the way the set up. So you saying that Chelsea, you're not that impressed, or Chelsea, you're not sure about Chelsea. For me personally, this isn't the best version of Chelsea. Once Lukaku comes back inside team and starts firing, which is what we expect from him, they're going to be an absolute beast of a team. This isn't even them in their highest form. They still got a couple of levels to go. So for me, I think Chelsea have won the league. Basically, I honestly, after watching that game, I did say Man City will win the league initially, but of course it's too early to say. But the way they're playing, I personally think they can still go another level. So for me, I think Chelsea are without a shadow of a doubt the team to beat at the moment.
Fair enough.
Just say, let's not think you're going to come back and say, but in terms of Leicester, they need to just allow it, man. Just get rid of Brendan Rodgers now. As you said, man, the players have given up on him, man. They completely fallen out of love with the manager, etc., and they just don't seem interested anymore. But listen, before we go into the score predictions, just want to quickly mention West Ham, because obviously Lawless is not here. And West Ham did lose 1-0, if I'm not mistaken. Jimenez getting on the score sheet first and foremost, great to see that. The fans are back, Kish, and West Ham lose. What are your thoughts?
Look, they've had a great season so far, don't get me wrong, but the players just didn't turn up. Antonio, I think Lola said it last week, that he's not really been on top form in the last few weeks, although he scored an absolute banger for Jamaica in the weekend as well. But look, my worry with West Ham, and I'm sure a lot of people said that, I think Lawless said that, is the squad depth. No, in fact, Lawless has denied that, because Lawless said that, they have good squad depth. I completely disagree. I think there's many positions where they are lacking. Look, Vlasic, who they bought for 26 million, I just think it was a waste of money. I just don't think there was any need. I don't really rate him at all. Apart from Antonio, if you put Bowen up front, Bowen doesn't really score. He shoots all the time, but you never really see him have much of an output. And then if you take out Declan Rice, you've got Noble, who's going to retire at the end of the season. So the quality for me is lacking there. The only area where I think they've got decent cover is in the centre-half position, because Bonner's injured and Dawson was really good for them last season. They've got Diop as well. So they've got decent cover there. But I think with all the competitions that they're in, They're in the League Cup still. They're in the Europa, the FA Cup.
Europa, yeah.
I think time will tell. But for me, I do see them dropping off. I do see them dropping off, if I'm honest.
Well, off the back of one defeat, because like you wasn't saying that when they beat, didn't they beat Liverpool in the last game? Like, do you not feel like it's just
no, but
but
I'm
you not
just
just
saying,
feel like that's, do you not just feel like it's an anomaly? Because obviously
no.
everyone's entitled to
What
a
I'm
bad
saying
game.
is, people have been saying that they're in the top 4 race. For me, I don't see them in the top 4 race. I see them going for Europe again. But I don't see them being in that top 4 race, especially with the competition that's there. I still see them having a very good season. I mean, 6th or 7th for West Ham would still be a very good season, in my opinion. But top 4, I just don't see their squad depth being big enough to be able to do everything that they want to achieve this season on top of top 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a case that they will fall off because of the lack of squad depth. And like you mentioned there, in terms of the injuries, that could definitely fall to them massively. In particular, Antonio, if he was to get injured, I don't even know who would play up front for them. So that'll be interesting. But they need to really get some reinforcements in January. In particular, Jesse Lingard. I think he's on the way back to West Ham.
He'd be fantastic. If they get Jesse Lingard, he could be the changer. He could be the game changer.
I mean, I think he's a massive asset for them to really push on, because they have got off to a very good start. I think one thing I have said consistently is that the lack of squad depth is going to kill them, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with, the Christmas period with 3 games every couple of days, or a game every couple of days. Sorry, should I say? Just obviously without the lack of rotation, I think they're going to start to drop points. But nevertheless, fair play to West Ham. Brilliant start for them. Good 3 points for Wolves, man. They needed that badly. Let's have a look. Take back Jailings. Okay, that is a comment there. But listen, we're going to finish off with the score predictions for the weekend's games. Obviously, we haven't done that in a while, but we thought we may as well bring it back. We're going to finish on that. So if you are still in the chat, please do get your score prediction as well. Of course, slap a like and subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on repeat. We're very close to 1.3k, so we appreciate any support in that area. But yeah, Kish, if you just want to discuss the first game.
So the early kickoff on Saturday at 12:30 is Arsenal against Newcastle.
Arsenal against Newcastle. So obviously Newcastle, Palace and all them that had a great game, but in terms of Newcastle, new manager bounce. I mean, there was somewhat of a bounce. It was a bit of a madness, that game. Arsenal, as we know, they need to get a result. They can't afford to drop points in this game. I think that's when the reactionary fans will be back on Arteta's head if they to bottle this one. But I think Arsenal's just going to have enough to beat them. I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal as well.
Fair enough. Next game.
Liverpool at home against Southampton. Comfortable in my opinion.
We got a 3-1 in the chat. I mean, that's the biggest.
I'm going to go for 3-1 Liverpool on that one.
3-1. Okay. I'm contemplating captaining Trent on fantasy football for this one. I'm really contemplating it. I'm going to say 4-0 Liverpool. I mean, everyone's going to score. Mane, Jota, the whole team, man. It's not going to be an issue for that one.
Okay. Burnley at home against Spurs.
Oh, Sean Dyche. Interesting. So Burnley at home. I think you're going to struggle this game. We've got a Liverpool 6 in the chat. I think you're going to struggle against Burnley, to be honest. I know probably not when you want to hear, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Burnley.
I'm going to go for 1-0 Spurs.
Okay, so we got 6-0 Liverpool, 1-1, and Arsenal 3-1. Okay, fair enough. Keep getting your comments in, obviously. Get your score prediction. Over to the next game.
Man City at home against West Ham.
Oh, shit. They got West Ham next. Oh, right. Okay, Man City, West Ham. Interesting. Okay. Oh, this is a big game for Lawless's boys. They need to bounce back.
I don't understand, by the way. That's not on Sky, that game.
What day is it?
Sunday.
What time, sir?
2 o'clock.
Are you sure it's on Sky? Obviously, Man United.
It might be on BT because they've got Brentford against Everton on Sky at 2.
Well, that must be the women's team, no? I mean, it will be in it. We've got 3-2 Hammers win in the chat. I'm going to say 2-1 to Man City. Very close game.
I'm going to go for 3-1 Man City.
All right, fair enough. Keep going.
And then the final one, Chelsea at home against Manchester United.
Would love to see City drop points from Pyramid Scheme. Chelsea, Man United. I mean, Carricky's in charge. I'm not expecting anything. All I want from him is to get us a draw. Just don't lose. I know that the standards of the club are so low at the moment, but it's just because I don't want him to. I mean, I don't expect him to be here for a long time. If we win that game somehow, fucking, I'll watch them lot bloody rave about it. Surely we're losing this game. Surely. But I'm going to say 1-1. More in hope than anything. We've got a 2-0 United win. But Kish, what do you reckon?
3-1 Chelsea.
3-1 Chelsea. I mean, Tuchel's absolute levels above Carrick and Fletcher, obviously, as a manager. So I would not be surprised if that is the case. But listen, that does finish off the show. I just want to say a massive thank you, as always, to Kish and Hussam, who's just left us. Please, if you haven't already, do slap a like on the video. Of course, get your comments in. If you're watching the show on repeat, subscribe to the channel and follow all of our socials down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Kish, before we go, as always, where can the people find you, bro?
Yeah, first and foremost, find me on Usman Talks United every Monday and on various other days within the week. Please like, subscribe, share all of his content. The guy's grafting hard for 1.3K. So if we can get him there by the end of the week, that'll be great. And then follow me on socials on Instagram and Twitter at Kishandu below.
Yes. Like I said, the social will be down below. If you want to follow any of our guests, including myself. Tomorrow we are back with a watch-along. Manchester United's first game without Ollie at the wheel. I'm intrigued to see what the lineup is. If McTominay's starting, just know I'm going to be raging on the watch. So make sure you join us for that. And obviously the match reaction after that, and then we've got some content on the Thursday as well, reacting to everything Manchester United, and of course talking about Pochettino. Any latest news that you want to know about Manchester United, stay tuned for that, and also follow me on Twitter because I will keep you up to date. But apart from that, it's been your boss, man. Hopefully, guys.